Hi, hello, good morning. This is Ramesh Kumar Lalkota, Assistant Professor of Botany, MVS Government Arts and Science College Autonomous, Mehboob Nagar. Today, we will discuss Caesalpinioideae family. Before going into the lesson, we will see the classification. Caesalpinioideae belongs to the class Dicotyledons, subclass Polypetalae, series Calyciflorae, order Rosales, family Leguminosae, and subfamily Caesalpinioideae. We all know that the family Leguminaceae is divided into three subfamilies. Uh, One is Mimosoideae, the next one is Caesalpinioideae, and the third is Papilionoideae, which is also known as Fabaceae. So today we will discuss the subfamily Caesalpinioideae. This subfamily includes 153 genera with 2,175 species distributed in tropical regions. And in India, they are represented by 23 genera and 80 species. And in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, from where I dwell, near about 40 species spread over 10 genera. The largest genus is uh, Camacrysta. You can see here, this is Camacrysta genus. It is the largest genus with 260 species, and the type genus is Caesalpinia. This is the Caesalpinia pulcherrima. So the type genus is Caesalpinia, and the largest genus in this subfamily is Camocrysta with about 260 species. And some of the important plants or familiar plants of this subfamily we will see with images. Okay, see, this is Bahinia malabarica. We will discuss the names in three languages, that is the scientific name, the local name, and the name in Hindi. Okay, so scientific name is followed by local name followed by the name in Hindi. So the first one is Bahinia malabarica, which is also known as Pulichinta, and in Hindi it is known as Amli. This one is Bahinia purpurea. We call it as Devakanchanam, and Hindi Khaniyar. We call it as Khaniyar. This is Bahinia racemosa, uh, RA, and in Hindi it is Katmuli. Okay, this is Bahinia Vahli. Uh, in Telugu we call Addaku, and in Hindi we call it as Maljan. This one Gulandina bonduk. It is also known as Caesalpinia bonduk. This Gulandina bonduk, we call it as Gachakaya, and in Hindi we call it as Karanj. This is Caesalpinia pulcherrima. We call it as Ratnagandhi, and in Hindi we call Gulutora. Okay. This one Senna auriculata, uh, popularly known as Tangedu, and it is the state flower of Telangana state. Okay, and in Hindi we call it as Tharwar. This is Senna fistula. In Telugu we call it as Rela. And in Hindi, Amaltas. Okay, this is Senna occidentalis. In Telugu we call Kasinta, and in Hindi, Kasonda. Okay, this is Hematoxylon campesianum. This one is popularly known as bloodwood tree. Okay, Hematoxylon campesianum. We will get a red dye from the stem of this tree, so the name Hematoxylon. Okay, and the next one, this one is Hardwickia binata. We call it as Epi or Naravepa in Telugu, and in Hindi it is popularly called as Anjan tree. Okay, and this is Parkinsonia aculeata, which is a xerophyte in this subfamily, and we call it as Jiluga, and in Hindi we call it as Vilaiti kikar. Okay, so this is uh, Peltoforum pterocarpum, uh, in Telugu Kondachinta, and in Hindi Pila gulmuhar. This one Poinciana elata, in Telugu we call Tella Turai, and in Hindi Vekaran. Okay, and this one is Gelnix regia. Uh, we call it as Erraturai, and in Hindi we call Gulmuhar. Okay, this is Pterolobium hexapetalum. We call it as Pariki, and this one is Serraca indica, popularly called as Ashoka tree. This one Tamarindus indica, which is popularly called as Chinta in Telugu, and Imli in Hindi. So these are some of the familiar plants belonging to this subfamily Caesalpinioideae. Now we will see the habitat. Most of these plants or trees, they are mesophytes. What are mesophytes? Mesophytes are those plants which are adapted to neither too wet nor too dry conditions. They love moderate conditions. Okay, so most of the plants are mesophytes. And when coming to their habit, all types of plants are seen in this subfamily. We will see trees, shrubs, thorny scanded shrubs, wood climbers, and annual herbs. See, all the variety of plants are seen here in this subfamily. Now, we will see the examples. Tamarindus indica and Saraca indica are good examples of the trees in this subfamily. And Caesalpinia pulcherrima, this one you can see, Senna auriculata, these are shrubs. And Pterolobium is a thorny scandent shrub. What is thorny scandent shrub? Uh, it grows bushy. Okay, the shrub, it is shrubby, but it can be a climber. See, it is a climber and it grows as a shrub. Shrubby climber is known as scandent shrub. Okay, so it has thorns also on its stem. You can see here in this picture. So thorny scandent shrub, Pterolobium hexapetalum. And wood climbers are also seen. Even though their stem is not so weak, they have strong stems, but to get maximum exposure to the sunlight, they climb over the trees that are beside them. Okay, actually these uh, lions or wood climbers, they grow in evergreen forest. So to get maximum exposure, they will climb uh, taking the support of the side by trees. Okay, so Bahinia Wahgi is the good example of woody climbers or lions in this subfamily. So this is the habit. In habit, we can see all types of plants and trees in here. Okay, so annual herbs are there, woody climbers are there, Scandinavian shrubs are there, and trees are there. Okay, this is regarding the habit of this Caesalpinioideae subfamily. Now coming to the vegetative characters, root system. As these plants belong to dicotyledons, they have taproot system, and the root system is well branched. Okay, then stem is aerial, erect, strong, woody, and branched. But in annual herbs, the stem is weak. What are herbs? Which have a herbaceous stem, that is green stem, and they may be mostly, these herbs are annuals or seasonals. Okay, they have very weak stem. They are very small plants. Okay, herbs are small plants. They are seasonal plants. They have a weak stem and herbaceous stem, that is green in color. The stem is green in color. Okay, so in all other plants other than the herbs, the stem is aerial, erect, strong, woody, and much branched. Okay, then coming to the exceptions, here in Bahinia Bahili, you can see axillary tendrils are present. See, this is the picture, axillary tendrils. What are tendrils? These are the structures which help for climbing. Okay, so they are sensitive structures, and they help in climbing. Here axillary tendrils are seen in Bahinia Bahili. So axillary means they develop from the axis of the leaf. See, this is the axis, the angle between the branch and the petiole is known as axis, and the axillary bud develops into a tendril. So such tendrils are called as axillary tendrils, and in some species you can see terminal tendrils are also seen. Okay, so here in this family we will see axillary tendrils, and the example is Bahinia Wahali. And in Pterolobium, you can see here in this picture, hook-like thorns are seen in Pterolobium. They are also helpful in climbing. Okay, so hook-like thorns are present in Pterolobium. This is regarding the stem. Now when coming to the leaves, leaves are alternate. Alternate means, what is the meaning of the alternate leaves? So you can see only one leaf develops from each node. Okay, the leaves are single at each node, and they borne along the stem alternately. See, one leaf alternates with the other leaf, alternates with the other leaf. So in this way, at each node only one leaf is present. Okay, so the leaves are alternate. they have the petiole, so they are petiolate, and they are pinnately compound. You can see here pinnately compound means it has a primary rachis. This is the rachis, central axis of the leaf, and the leaflets are present on either side of this primary rachis. In such case, we call it as pinnately compound, and these leaves, the compound leaves, are peripinnate. Peripinnate means they end up in even number. The leaflets end up in even number. If they end up in odd number, we call it as imparipinnate. We can see it in Ajadirecta indica, which is a good example for imparipinnate compound leaf. But here in this family, you can see peripinnate, pinnately compound leaf. That means it ends up in a even number of leaflets. Okay, the leaves are bipinnately compound in Caesalpinia and Peltoformum. What is bipinnately compound leaf? If the primary rachis again divides and gives rise to a secondary rachis, and the leaflets are present over this secondary rachis, then we call it as bipinnately compound leaf. See, you can see here the leaflets are present on primary rachis, but here the primary rachis is again divided into secondary rachis, and the leaflets are present on the secondary rachis. So these are bipinnately compound leaves, and these are seen in Caesalpinia and Peltoforum. And the leaf base is pulvinous. What is the pulvinous leaf base? You can see here the leaf base is swollen. Okay, so this is swollen leaf base is seen in Leguminaceae family. Okay, so they have pulvinous leaf base, and the venation is reticulate venation. You all know that all the dicotyledons, they have reticulate venation with a very few exceptions. Okay, so and in Bahinia, you can see the bilobed and elliptical leaves. These are the bilobed and elliptical leaves which are seen in Bahinia. And in Parkinsonia, stipules are modified into the spines. So what are stipules? The outgrowths which are present at the base of the petiole are known as stipules. They are sometimes they are scale leaf-like structures, small green colored scale leaf-like structures present on either side of the petiole are known as stipules, and here in Parkinsonia these stipules are modified into spines. Okay, this is regarding the leaves. Now when coming to the reproductive morphology, we will discuss the type of inflorescence first, then the individual flower, and after description of the individual flower, we will see what are the different holes present in the individual flower. Okay, so first inflorescence. Inflorescence in this family is a simple raceme. It may be a corym. What is the racemose type of inflorescence? So you can see all the flowers are arranged in acropetal succession. Okay, acropetal succession, and the of the flowers which are formed earlier, they are at the base, and which are formed uh, later, they are present at the top. Okay, so this is acropetal succession. All the flowers are present in acropetal succession, and it may be a corym. What is a corym? See, the flowers which are present at the base, they have longer pedicels, and which are present at the terminal position, they have short pedicels, and more or less all of them are seen on the same plane at the surface area. So this is a corym. So the inflorescence is a simple raceme or a corym. Okay, and compound corym is seen in Caesia siamia. See, this is Caesia siamia. Here you can see a compound corym. That means the corym is divided into many branches, and each branch represents a simple corym. Okay, and in Caesia tora, you can see here clusters of 2 to 3 flowers arise in the axils of the leaf. Okay, so clusters of 2 to 3 flowers arise in axils of the leaf. Okay, Caesia tora. This is regarding the inflorescence. When coming to the floral characters, each we have many flowers in the inflorescence. We have to describe each flower. Okay, a single flower. So how the flower is, we'll see. Okay, flower, it is a bracteate. That means it has bracts. Okay, uh, see, bracts are green colored scale leaf like structures. Just now we discussed, no, if they are present at the base of the petiole, we call them as stipules, and if they are present on the pedicel, that is uh, uh, on the peduncle, if they are present on the peduncle, that is the stalk of the inflorescence, we call them as bracts. And if they are present on the individual flower in an inflorescence, we call as uh, bracteoles. Okay, bracteate, bracteolate, pedicellate, complete, bisexual, zygomorphic, diclymedious, heteroclymedious, pentamerous, perigynous, and variously colored. Okay, we will see one by one. Bracteate, that means they have bracts over the peduncle. The inflorescence shows the bracts, so they are bracteate. And individual flowers, if they show the bracts over the pedicel, then we call it as bracteolate. And each flower in turn has their own pedicel. See, this is the pedicel. The stalk of the inflorescence is called peduncle, and the stalk of individual flower in the inflorescence is known as pedicel. So they are bracteate, they are pedicellate, they are complete. Complete means all the four holes are present. Okay, what are the four holes? Calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynosium. If all the four holes are present, then we call it as a complete flower. And when a flower is complete, it is definitely a bisexual flower. That means it has both the male and female reproductive organs, that is androecium and gynosium. And these flowers are zygomorphic in nature. Okay, zygomorphic means it shows bilateral symmetry. That means it can be divided into two equal halves in only one plane. You can see here, only in this plane we can make it into two equal halves. In no other plane it can be made into two equal halves. Then such flowers are called zygomorphic flowers. They show bilateral symmetry. Okay, and these flowers are diclymedious. Diclymedious means the non-essential organs, that is calyx and corolla, are present in two different holes, and they are heteroclymedious. That means we can differentiate these calyx and corolla easily. Okay, if they are not uh, distinguishable, then we call it as homoclymedious, and such condition is seen in monocotyledons. Okay, so here these are heteroclymidous, diclymidous, and heteroclymidous, and the floral parts are five or multiples of five, so they are called pentamerous. See, five petals, five sepals. Okay, five or multiples of five number of and this stamens are seen. Okay, so such condition is known as pentamerous condition. And the position is perigynous. Perigynous means half superior or half inferior ovary. That is, all the other floral parts, they develop from the periphery of the ovary. You can see here, this is the peripheral region. It is half superior and half inferior. Okay, so such condition is known as perigynous condition, and the flowers are variously colored. So how to describe a individual flower? These flowers are bracteate, pedicellate, complete, bisexual, zygomorphic, diclymedious, heteroclymedious, pentamerous, perigynous, and variously colored. Now we will see each of the hole in detail. Okay, then the first one, the outermost hole, is the calyx. And how is the calyx? Usually five, but rarely four sepals are seen in Hamartia. Okay, usually five. And polysepalous condition. Polysepalous means, you can see here, they are free. If they are fused, we call it as gamosepalous. But here you see all the sepals are free. So polysepalous, they are volvate estivation. That means these sepals, they are just touch, they never overlap with each other, they are very close to each other, they just touch. Okay, so such type of estivation is known as volvate estivation. So the sepals are five in number, they're polysepalous, and they show volvate estivation. And in Hamastia, we have only four sepals. This is Amhastia. It has only four sepals: one, two, three, four. Okay, at the base you can see it's not clearly visible in this picture, but it has only four sepals. Okay, so this is regarding calyx. And corolla, petals are also five in number, and a polypetalous condition. Polypetalous means all the petals are free, they are not fused. Okay, and you can see here, these are the five petals. The posterior odd petal is smaller than the other four petals. These petals are present in two pairs. This is one pair and this is one pair. This is the odd petal, and this is posterior in position. This is smaller in size when compared to all other petals. And estivation is ascendingly imbricate estivation. Okay, see, this is the posterior smaller one which is present here. uh, it is its two ends are covered by the two ends of this petals. Okay, so these two ends cover the small ends of the smaller petal, posterior odd petal, and these two petals are again overlapped by the these two petals. Okay, so such type of arrangement is known as ascendingly imbricate aestivation. One petal completely, two ends are completely in, the other completely out, and the three remaining are with one end in and one end out. Okay, so such type of arrangement, a floral arrangement, is known as ascendingly imbricate aestivation. Okay, normally five petals, but some exceptions are there. In Tamarindus you can see only three petals are seen, and in Amerstia also we have three petals, but in Saraka, Hardwickia and Dialium, the petals are completely absent. No petals are present in Saraka indica, that is Ashoka tree, Hardwickia binata and Dialium. You don't have any petals. Okay, so this is regarding corolla. And the third hole, androecium, essential organs, the first hole of essential organs. Stamens are 10 in number and they are arranged in two bundles, that is 5 plus 5 conditions seen normally. And these anthers are dithecous and they are extrorse. Extrorse means what? They are directed towards outside. Okay, they dehiscence towards outside, they are away from the center, they dehisce towards outside. Okay, so such stamens are known as extrorse stamens and they are dithecous in nature. And uh, stamens are only 5 in Acrocorpus. You can see in this picture, in Acrocorpus the stamens are 5 in number. In Ceratonia and Acrocorpus we see such condition, and in Papodia we have 7 stamens. And in Acacia, out of 10, 7 stamens are fertile and 3 are sterile. You can see here three very small stamens are present and they are sterile. The longer stamens, which are visible, clearly visible here, they are fertile. 3 sterile and 7 fertile in Acacia. And in Tamarindus we have 4 sterile and 3 fertile stamens. You can see here only 3 are appeared in this image. So the other 4, they are very short. Okay, 4 are sterile and 3 are uh, fertile in Tamarindus. And in Bahinia monandra only 1 stamen is fertile. So this is Bahinia monandra, only 1 stamen fertile. Monandra, only 1 stamen. Okay, so this is regarding androecium. And regarding gynosium, gynosium is monocarpellary. What is a carpel? A carpel is a female reproductive uh, unit. It has style, stigma and ovary. Okay, style, stigma and ovary together called a reproductive unit, female reproductive unit, which is called as a carpel. Okay, so it has monocarpellary, only one single carpel is present, and it is unilocular. Inside the ovary only one locule is seen, and ovary is superior or half inferior, half superior or half inferior ovary is seen, and 2 rows of ovules are present. See, you can see here in this picture 2 rows of ovules in marginal placentation. So ovules are arranged in marginal placentation and they are present in 2 rows. So monocarpellary, unilocular, ovary is superior or sometimes half superior and half inferior, and the 2 rows of ovules are present in marginal placentation. This is regarding gynosium. And the next one is pollination. How pollination occurs? Due to large and showy flowers, insects are attracted, and when they visit for the nectar, cross pollination takes place. But in Poinciana, pollination is by birds, that is ornithophily. Generally, entomophily is the pollination, but in Poinciana, it is by ornithophily. Okay, but ornithophily is nothing but pollination by birds. Okay, so in Poinciana, we will say ornithophily. Otherwise, in all other plants, it is entomophily. Okay, after pollination, fertilization occurs and fruit formation takes place. So the fruit is a legume in Bahinia, and it is indehiscent in Tamarindus. The fruit is indehiscent in Tamarindus, and it is Samara in Pterolobium. Okay, the seed is non-endospermic. So this is regarding the fruit, and this is floral formula and floral diagram. So first we will see floral formula. We said that these flowers are bracteate, so we are writing br represents bracteate. This percentage symbol, it represents zygomorphic, that is bilaterally symmetrical. They can be made into two equal halves in only one plane. So the bracteate, the zygomorphic, bisexual, and calyx is 5. Sepals are 5 in number. They are free, or sometimes they may be fused at their base. Okay, if they are fused, we have to write them in the brackets. Okay, so calyx, most commonly it is polysepalous, but sometimes in some species it may be fused at the base, so we are putting it in a bracket. Okay, then corolla is a 5 number and polypetalous. Androecium 10 in number in 2 bundles, 5 plus 5 bundles, and gynosium only one carpel is present, and it is half inferior or half superior. Okay, it is what do you call, perigynous condition is seen. Okay, so the depiction of this floral formula pictorially is known as floral diagram. See, this is the outermost hole which represents the calyx 5 number. Okay, then followed by corolla 5 number, imbricate, ascendingly imbricate estivation is seen, and you can see here the stamens are present in 2 holes. The outer hole it has 5, and the inner hole it has 5 stamens, but only 7 are fertile and 3 are uh, sterile. Okay, these are the sterile stamens and these are fertile. And the central, this one is gynosium with a single carpel. So this is floral diagram. And regarding its economic importance, some of the plants are medicinally useful. We can see uh, what are medicinally useful plants in this family. Caesalpinia bundak, leaves used to remove worms and to cure fever and epilepsy. And Acacia abscess, seeds used to cure skin diseases, and they are laxative also. Okay, and Caddisa auriculata, leaves and flowers are used for curing headache and also increases semen production. In the Acacia fistula, fruit pulp, flowers, and leaves are used in constipation, and Saraca indica, bark is used in urine infection. Okay, and Tamarindus mesocarp is used as condiment. Okay, ornamentals, Bahinia purpurea, Caesalpinia pulcherrim, and Acacia fistula are ornamentals of this family. So this is all for today. Thank you.